So my question was that lot of time and energy get waste over thoughts where we get lost in our logic mind, proving that this thing, like we start to think about that this how to get grounded, but what happened that we get lost with our logical mind. So my question was, is there any tool like breathing or anything so that we can keep our internal state calm, grounded, and blissful, no matter how illogical talk or unpleasant be the situation, and can respond with awareness rather than being carried away by terrain of ego logics?
Wonderful. Very good question. Because there are a lot of parts into this aspects of this question. So that's what I wanted to explain in detail. So I will answer one by one. Okay, because this will be recapitulation to other group members also. We have discussed these topics earlier into the group, but I will summarize and I will explain you one by one. Because it is a very relevant question and it is important that we should have a clarity of these things. First is about your logical mind and what your thoughts. We already explained, I have given the presentation to your organization also regarding that unstoppable thoughts keep on coming, 60,000 thoughts per day. Everybody comes and it is uncontrollable. We don't have power normally to control those thoughts. The first thing we need to learn is how to control the thoughts, our thoughts. That is the basics. That spirituality starts with this practice, just so that thought doesn't take us away, because thought is you can say, the representative of our ego. So more we go with the thought, we are under influence of ego. Let me put it in this way. Okay. So first thing is we need to learn how to declutch ourselves from our thoughts, because otherwise they will take us away. We don't have power to control them and we cannot stop them and things like that. That's why two things initially important we practice. That is, one is to raise our vibration, because lower vibration, you have no chance we can control our thoughts. Always it will overpower us. So if we raise our vibration, slowly, we get a power to control over our thoughts. That is the first part. Second part is, during meditation, we try to go into no thought zone. First vibration higher, then meditation. This practice over the period of time have a complete grip of our thoughts. So that is the first aspect, how to control our thoughts. I'm not going into what to do with that later on. Just these are the few basic techniques we always learn. Any kind of initiation happens, I teach these things for this reason. Okay, so this is about to practice, and over the period of time, control of our mind will come. Okay, and as I said, it is a representative of our ego, so we have to go beyond ego. Ego is needed. Now let me put few words about what is the role of ego. Ego is needed to operate in our external world. We need mind, we need a planning, we need education, and things are there is our mind. Everything is our mind and memory that holds. So ego is definitely needed for external world operating. Ego is not always bad thing. Ego is needed, but only thing is, it should be limited to its purpose. What happens is that our spiritual journey is beyond mind. And today's topic, I will explain about the higher dimensions, so then it will be clear. So what happens, we cannot get out of our physical dimension because of this thought mind, always chattering. That is called internal noise. If the internal noise is happening, we call it whispers from beyond. The higher dimensional messages will never explain, never receive and understand. So in this case, what is happening? Thoughts become a noise. Thoughts become an obstacle. So any spiritual journey the thought become an obstacle and ego become a big obstacle. So ego is so-called bad in the spiritual perspective, not in the practical one. We need that. If ego is completely removed, we cannot operate in the physical world, We have to work, we have to earn money, we have to, take care of our family, we have to pay bills, etc. Without ego, that is not possible. Okay. So it has to be clearly understood the role. So when we are in a spiritual practice, then our ego must be put under control. Even to that extent, ego should be completely annihilated. It should not influence any way in our spiritual journey. More we can get hold over the control, then we can go much higher on that spiritual journey. Okay. So that is the understanding of the ego, and mind is the agent of that. Because what happens is that ego always work in the self-importance, like a self-importance. And now let me touch upon how it influences you. Saying somebody said bad words to you, criticizes you and your family, etc. That's fine. All of us, we face these kind of scenarios, whether it is a work or a family or things, relationships, etc., etc. So what happens is that first it gets trigger. Those words bring some kind of thought in our mind. Thought can be retaliatory, that can be negative, judgmental, and things like that. But that thought triggers our emotion. We can be angry, we can be frustrated, we can be disgusted. Okay. So whether we behave or not, that emotion is triggered. When emotion is triggered, we no longer operate from a neutral point of view. We lost our true self. We call it is like looking the world in the colored glasses. Like a red color glass, everything will look red. So when you are angry, everything you will look at is angrily. All reactions will be angry reactions. Okay. Later on you may regret, but what happens is that triggers immediate reaction. So people react under influence of their emotion. And then later regret, and then it escalates further and something happens, etc., etc. So what we need to do, we need to declutch again between our emotion and our action. To do that, we need a little bit space so that we can control before it goes out from us. Once anything goes out from us like an arrow, once it is thrown, you cannot return. So before the arrow goes out, we have to stop it. For that, like before any words goes out from our mouth, we need to decide whether to throw it or not. Normally, we don't have that capability. It comes and goes, and later we regret or we face the consequences and things like that. To do that, the key is witnessing. That also we teach in your spiritual practices, how to witness. Witness means your mind is always under your watch. You are not your mind. You are much higher than that. So we need to, in our 6-step meditation, we practice, witness your body, witness your mind and all these things. It is basically that tool we are teaching, we are practicing so that you can use it anytime. So before something happened, somebody criticized you, then first you have to watch what is happening in your mind. Anger comes, simply by witnessing, you can reduce the anger. That is the power of witnessing. It can dissolve any kind of emotion. What I'm talking now, it is not logical. It is beyond logic. So you will not understand. How come just witnessing it, looking at it, can dissolve it?
Sir, actually, the next day I started witnessing in witnessing that, but again it was through mind, but still it helped. I started looking at the fact that who is upset. Daughter-in-law is upset. I am not daughter-in-law. Like I am a free soul, so that helped me a bit. But of course, the practice of all those meditation every day will lift me.
Yeah, no, that is good, but I have just given you simple just tips here, because I am also undergoing, I am also watching Rajdeep, what he is thinking, what he is doing under different types of circumstances. Okay. So what you have said is correct, that I am not that. That technology called neti neti. Okay. But I don't recommend that, because we are following the path of the truth, not ignoring it. What I used to do, I used to accept so-and-so told so-and-so thing. So-and-so told Rajdeep as idiot, and Rajdeep is angry. Accept. If you don't accept, if you ignore, you said Rajdeep is not angry, I am spiritual, I cannot be angry. You are denying the truth. And that will come up sometime. Okay, not by suppressing it. Accepting it, then move forward. Make sense what I'm saying?
Yes, sir, very much. Because that thing again, by taking that neti neti, it helped only for 5 minutes. It is not helpful.
Okay, that's what I say. Don't reject that Rajdeep is not angry.
Yeah.
You accept Rajdeep. Say Rajdeep has missed the flight, he's upset. Accept that. The Rajdeep is upset. I am upset and Rajdeep is upset is a hell and heaven difference. Only thing what you need to do, take I out of your lower identity. That's what it is. No matter what is happening, accept. Is upset. But if you do that, then you have a power before Rajdeep says anything that can be controlled. That is the key. Yeah? I'm giving you some kind of deeper secrets of operating. Okay. But does it make sense? Otherwise, I will explain a different way.
No, sir, it is making sense. Quite.
Okay. It will take time. I'm not saying overnight you will be able to do it, but this is the way. Witnessing, then controlled the reaction. Like in my case, Rajdeep's reaction before it goes out from Rajdeep's Rajdeep physical body, words and behavior or action. So in that case, it will be a response, not a reaction. You can respond to a situation, not react, because all the mistakes happen because we react. Okay. This part is clear. So this is about your part. Now let me come to the practical technique.
Sir, one question.
Rashmi, yeah, okay.
Sir, you said accept, but after accepting, there will be that thought that's generated. Should we accept that thoughts also? Okay, it will settle down. Okay.
Everything. Accept in toto. That is the truth. If you are angry, that is the truth.
Okay.
Don't pretend I am not angry. I am practicing spirituality for so many years. I cannot be angry. Don't do that.
Okay.
That is
So
a false
emotions out. Don't suppress it.
Yeah, I mean, accept, because that is the key to go beyond.
Okay.
Without acceptance, you cannot go. It is a normal principle anywhere. Okay. Like I was giving my example long time back, I was having alcoholism issue. If I deny that, okay, I drink, but I can manage, I will never be able to go out of that. Okay. Because I'm in a denial mode. If you say, yeah, there is some problem in my family, but I can manage, no? That ego doesn't allow that you are failing somewhere. That is called denial mode. As long as you are in denial mode, nothing can be done.
Okay.
You follow in that infinite loop again and again and again. When you accept, yes, it is unmanageable, I cannot manage it, then solution can be found. Okay. All right. So let me, because this is, I'm giving you overall perspective, Shweta, so that you understand the overall picture. Now let me come to the thing that this is called without your permission. Nobody can control you. Don't allow anybody to control you. By the Rajkumari, Sanjeev, you wanted to say something? Sanjeev?
Yeah, Dada, Pranam. And Dada, I
Pranam.
have a question. Sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
Actually, Dada, I could not understand properly. See, after accepting the situations or the thoughts, then like how it make the difference? Because suppose if we have accepted, ki, yes, I am angry for the other, like whatever the other people has done. So how to come out from that particular thing?
No.
Because like we are, if we are angry, so that means like we have not grown up. So like we have accepted the situations and the words.
Okay. No. Let me repeat. Listen very.
Sir, just a
Listen
second. According to his question, sir, just I would like to just add one line. Then I would like to. It is in means a connection to his question. So the thing is, the thing you are explaining just now, that acceptance. So this kind of thing helped me a little, but I couldn't catch that I had accepted, because when I typed that question, before that I accepted that okay, I was angry. So I was thinking that okay, I have started practicing, I have become a very evolved person like that. But that acceptance led me to ask that question.
No, understood. Let me answer that specific question of Sanjeev. Sanjeev, here it is not about anger. It is about who is angry. If you say I am angry and if you say Sanjeev is angry, that is the difference. What I am saying is, in my example, if I say I am angry, then I am in it. I am already influenced by anger. But if I say Rajdeep is angry, I'm accepting the fact that my lower self is anger, but there is some entity which is watching it. The power will come from there, my higher self. So that is the difference. I'm not saying that if I am angry, what should I do? If you are angry, nobody can do anything. But if Sanjeev is angry, then the higher I can do something. There is a space. Something can be done about it. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? Just don't phrase it as I.
So there is a very thin line between the I and the Sanjeev. You mean to say this?
Yes, thin line, but that line needs to be drawn. Otherwise, you cannot control it.
Okay.
And that line is been created by the witnessing. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that when you are witnessing, then you can draw a line. This is my lower self. That's what I example. There is a difference that somebody is blaming Rajdeep and somebody is blaming me. There is a huge difference. If I say it is blaming me, there is no scope for maneuvering anywhere. Because my whole entity is being blamed. If I say that somebody is blaming Rajdeep, then who is observing? They have a power to control. Okay, just think about it.
Okay, no, I'm trying to get this particular point. But the next question is then how to detach between these two different entities, like me and the Sanjeev, basically, like I and the Sanjeev.
Witnessing. Just like you witness your thought, scanning the body, witness your breath. Similar way, you witness your mind.
So the emotions, like what the physical. Sorry. So the emotions, like what the physical body has, that means like what the emotion the Sanjeev has. So like that can, but ultimately like it will be reflected into his actions also.
It will not if you respond. In first case, you have no choice. Something you react. But if you're witnessing, you have a power to control.
Okay.
Okay, just contemplate on that. That is the key.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. All right. So the next point is about.
Can I ask a question?
Can you mute? Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Sir, when we accept and when as Rashmi, I still feel the anger, I have accepted. What about the laws of karma? Will we still be going through the laws?
Talking about laws of karma, we'll deal it later on. Okay. Don't confuse karma with this. Okay.
Okay.
Just take it as an immediate action point and act it accordingly. Okay. And to be precise, to answer your question, if you are 100% in witness mode, no karma will be created. That's how masters work. Okay. And that is the last point of this topic. Okay. Because she has asked what to do. What is the breathing technique, what to follow? So that will come there. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So now let me finish this because still we have not gone into this topic. But it is important. That's what I'm explaining point by point. Okay. Now, next point is about how to deal with others. Okay. So for others, you don't allow anybody else to control you through your mind. Okay. I repeat. You don't allow anyone outside you to control you. How they control you? They do something, they say something, and then you get affected and you react to that. So that means they have a power, no? In fact, some people, they get so smart that they know exactly which is your fuse and they will exactly pull the fuse and then you become out of control. So what is happening here, understand it clearly. Others have a power to control you. Okay. If you don't like someone, why you are giving them power to control you? Simply look at it from this point of view. I don't want to give power to somebody. I have already told the story of Gautam Buddha. Somebody came and abused him for 15 minutes. He didn't react. Not react, not respond either. So what happens is that, finally they left. So he doesn't given that fellow to control him. In the story I told many times, no, he was asking if that other person bought a gift. And if I don't take it, who does it belong? It belongs to that person. But same here. If you don't accept whatever abuse and whatever words thrown at you, it will go back. Simply being still, not allowing somebody to control your mind, I call it mirror technology. Reflect back, whatever is coming. How to reflect back? Simply not doing anything, not reacting to it. You don't have to. Any kind of instigation, don't have to react. That power is always you have, not to react. How to? I have already explained earlier. And so don't give anybody power who doesn't, particularly to those who doesn't like, you don't like. And or their behavior, actions not in your best interest. Don't allow them to do or say, let them say anything, but don't receive it. It doesn't matter what they say, what they think about you and all these things. Don't ask for approval from anyone. Accept your higher self. You don't need approval of anyone. Spiritually speaking, you are walking your unique spiritual path. They are walking their own unique spiritual, say, life path. You are walking your own life path. They are walking their own life path. It's okay. Let them do, say whatever. You are not responsible for them. No matter how closely related you are, it is your duty and all those kind of things. Those aspects I already explained how to deal. Just in the given scenario, think if something you lose your peace of mind. Don't do it. Your peace of mind is more precious than doing your duty and what is right thing to do as per you. Clear? Now I'm giving you some kind of, badmashi wala technique. Yeah. So how to deal with this kind of people. Suppose you visiting an asylum, mental patients asylum. And there I already told this story also, but this is important here. Suppose some lady came out and started abusing you, shouting at you. How do you feel that time? You are in asylum. You are in a mental hospital. You are visiting. You are a visitor. One of the resident, they just came and shouting. One lady started shouting at you. What do you feel? Tell me, what do you feel?
Sir, we won't feel like anger or resentment. We will just say that, oh, doctor shall take care of this patient. We can feel sympathy, like.
Exactly. Correct. So we feel sympathy. So, or because we know that that lady is a patient, we'll pray for, treatment. As you said, doctor, we pray that, she gets the treatment, she get well. Apply this to your surroundings. Think that wherever you live, it is a part of that asylum. Okay, this is Badmashi wala technique. If you look at all this, all this Saas, Bahu and all this kind of stuff, if you look at you are in an asylum, then your life will be much, much easier to accept. And it is truth. There is a truth behind it. All of them are certain kind of mental patients. But we have to operate with sympathy and pray for them, not fight with them. Like in the asylum, we don't shout back at that person. Okay, similar here. Apply the technique. Look at it from this point of view. Your life will be much, much easier. Okay? The next point I will say is somebody is creating something, which happens is, before it goes to our thought, it changes our energy. Negative energy thrown at us. Okay, so we get affected by that negative energy. Now I'm going to the energy. I'm spiritual technique, how to control this. Somebody is actually abusing. I need to do something. No? So far, whatever I've said, that is applicable. Then what you do, you imagine there is a screen between you and that person. Imaginary screen. Like in the presentation, we give a slideshow on that kind of screen is in between. And you have seen that sometimes we use a laser pointer in the presentation, red colored dot that goes here and there. So assume that in your third eye here, you have a laser, that pointer here. On the imaginary screen with your third eye, suppose that laser is going on that screen, that point, red dot is going on the screen, imaginary screen, and that is starting from your third eye. You draw 2 anti-clockwise circles on the screen and one cut like a no entry. Who knows, that the scientific symbols, it is like a theta. 2 anti-clockwise circle and one cut. Why 2, why cut? Don't bother. Don't go into logical thing. This is the symbol to cut the energy of the other person so that it will not affect you. It will not stop them. I'm not saying you don't.
Those 2 circles will be of same circumference and at the same position.
Same circumference, and in the middle, in the diameter, it will be cut. Like a no entry sign. So you imaginary screen, you do that energetically, that negativity will not affect you anymore. And you can do by little movement. Means, of course, you don't move hugely, so it will but you just a little bit of just imaginary, it will be fine. I'm not saying physically you have to move your head. Just your intention, third eye on that screen, you draw two anti-clockwise circle and one cut, and that's what you need to do to energetically disconnect. Clear? The tool, spiritual tool. Okay. Now the last point is, you have asked what we can do so that no negativity can attach, no negativity can affect us. That particular technique is called Vairav Mudra. Vairav Mudra means always be in the breath awareness of your breath. The first step, Anapansati. So when you are in a difficult situation, just you have to be aware of your breath. That's all. That is a technique so that you will be always saved. No negativity can touch. Okay, so that is called Vairav Mudra. Vairav is, there is some temples. If you go some temples, particularly in South India or so, you will say that in front of, before you enter to any temple, see, there is a big Rakshas type of thing, very Bhayankar type of, statues are there. Those are representative of Vairav, called Vairav. So what the symbolism is, before you enter into the temple, they chew away all the negativity. And our symbolism is our body is temple of our soul. Without physical body, we cannot get enlightened. Physical body is the crossroad of divinity and devil. There is no such thing called devil, but I'm just saying for the concept wise. It is a crossroad of hell and heaven. Without crossroad, you cannot enter there. So-called heaven. You need physical body. And you have to maintain it like a temple. So before entering into temple, anything from outside, the breath awareness is that Kal Bhairav, which chew away all the negativity. All enlightened masters, they do it 24/7. So nothing can touch. Think of them, many people calling and dumping their negativity, every day. For the consultancy and all those things, personal consulting and things like that. Most of the things, they dump negativity. Whatever they faced in the life, their problems and things like that, right? But as they're in a breath awareness, nothing can touch them. They operate out of compassion, but they don't get bogged into. Many people ask you, so many negative things you hear, you don't get affected by this? I said, no. Because we don't take ownership of anything. We just give the divine connection and it goes there. But anyway, so the key is Bhairav Mudra. Bhairav Mudra means breath awareness. Okay, so that completes your answering to your question. And
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, it is a full spectrum of the whole thing. Okay.